as we talk some baseball, better known as the 4, the 6, and the 3. Pay no attention, Chris, and I know you know this, but I'm telling everybody else out there, to the final score yesterday. 8-1 was the final as the Twins beat the Braves.
No.
All that matters is the pitchers that are going to be on this team most likely pitched well yesterday. Chris Sale got the start. 37 pitches, 28 strikes over 2 scoreless. Threw a first pitch strike to each of the 8 batters that he faced, hitting about 96 miles an hour, averaging 95 miles an hour with his 4-seamer. So seemingly, Chris, all is well. Knock on wood as I hit my head with Chris Sale.
He said he wanted to come into this camp a little bit more ready, as in throwing 2 innings like he did yesterday. I'm not sure he would have done that in the past, but he made a conscious decision. I guess the expression, he wanted to hit the ground running, maybe with a little bit more of baseball acumen.
Sure.
With the idea that he was going to be a little bit more ready in February, not just wait till March. Yesterday was an example of it.
Makes sense. J.R. Ritchie comes in sitting in the mid-90s with his fastball, struck out 2 scoreless innings. Only 2 whiffs, but no hard-hit balls. And is there a very real possibility of him starting in the rotation? Maybe not, because he has options and Bryce Elder doesn't. So unless Bryce Elder completely implodes, you would assume that J.R. Ritchie is going to start the season down at AAA, but I got a feeling, Chris, we'll see him before all is said and done this year.
Well, after a 1-hour rain delay, I think Braves fans who were in the building who had been hearing about J.R. Ritchie for the last couple of years had a chance to lay eyes on him. I don't know what you're going to be saying at the end of the year. I was there that day in Northport. I knew it. We followed up Chris Sale, and that was our guy. I don't know if that's going to happen. But there is a possibility, and everybody does believe there's a really strong possibility he'll be pitching in the majors at some point, even this year.
Certainly seems to have the proper mindset. If you missed the conversation we had, in fact, if you missed anything from last week, as we were down there at Northport at spring training, all up on the Fan app and 680thefan.com and the Fans YouTube channel. The cameras, Chris, did travel with us, and the cameras don't lie. We had to keep reminding Dimino to keep his pants on throughout the broadcast, and thankfully he did. Well, save that 5-minute segment on Friday.
Yeah, I found myself, not going in my pants quite as often either. I didn't want to scratch myself at the point, because I think that would have been there for the YouTube world to see. I didn't want to give any fodder to the idea, hey, does that guy scratch himself a lot?
Dirty old man.
So Ronald Acuña Jr., Walt Weiss did say over the weekend, is going to lead off. And this is a harbinger of things to come, perhaps, for the Braves. What we saw is their starting lineup yesterday. Acuna led off. Drake Baldwin hit second. Matt Olson third. Profar cleanup. Austin Riley fifth. Albee sixth. Michael Harris seventh. Aaron Schunk was the DH, but probably not him. Yaz would be in there someplace. Mauricio Dubon. So for the most part, though, you're going to have, and Walt Weiss said he doesn't have a problem with back-to-back lefties at 2 and 3 in Baldwin and Olson. You're right. As a lefty is in there, you'll adjust a little bit. But against right-handers, this could be your lineup. Again, save Aaron Schunk as the DH.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. Baldwin hitting second. They believe bat to ball, it doesn't matter who's throwing on the mound. So it might not necessarily be that. Is Profar going to be the cleanup hitter when he's perhaps DHing, and then Dubon, who's going to get whatever he's going to get, 5-6 weeks? It looks like, and I do believe that they want to hit him ninth, and they do want to give him a little bit of protection with Ronald behind him. Now, Ronald hit a ball in the first inning yesterday that I'm not sure the ball was perfectly round. When it hit he thought it was out. We all saw what happened. He was standing on first base, 112 miles an hour. He bombed it. And I think as you picked up that ball, it probably was not as round as when it started, because that ball had topspin.
But if he does that during the regular season, we aren't going to be happy with him. If he hits a 397-foot single to open a game because he's admiring the flight of the ball, listen, we're all going through it in spring training. You can overlook it now, but you got to tell him, that's great. That can't happen during the regular season.
Yeah, I think everybody was willing to go, welcome to spring training. But it's not March 27th. If that happens March 27th or March 28th or March 30th, probably not just going to be I think everybody was talking about how hard he hit it.
He did hit it 112 miles an hour. But again, if the Royals are here on March the 27th, moving forward, the A's after that, you don't want that.
No.
Ronald doesn't want that. Nobody wants that.
Listen, what is it we say all the time? Everybody's looking for a teaching point. Everybody just wants it. Okay, everybody. All right, now we saw what can happen. Should be standing on second base. That's for everybody. Ronald included going forward.
Now, Ronald Acuña, when he leads off games, his batting average is .297. He's got 37 career leadoff homers, for those of you who want to, bring this up perhaps around the Keurig a little bit later on today. Tied with Ichiro for 13th all-time. Ricky Henderson would be the all-time leader with 81. Now, he trails, as far as active players are concerned, Jose Altuve, who's got 41. Schwarber's got 46, and he'll add to that total as long as he keeps leading off. Mookie Betts has 52. George Springer has 60 when you talk about active
But
players
here's the
out
thing.
there.
So I'm not, look, you want to hit him leadoff because he wants to, and you think him being in the lineup offers protection to the guys at the back end. I'm all for it. Those guys got to get on base. He needs to be a run producer. And producing one, which has happened how many times? 37 times?
Yes,
37 times?
that's
Okay,
correct. 37 career leadoff homers.
That's 37 runs. He's been playing baseball for a while. He's really good at jumping on a guy. All good. How many RBI would it have been if he hit home run hitting second or third with somebody else on base? He would have hit solos, but maybe there would have been other people on. I'm just dealing in math. If 8 and 9 really do their job, get on base more than we did last year. And Michael Harris, I don't think he's going to hit ninth. I don't think they want to. I don't think he wants to. None of that stuff. But Ronald Acuña has to end up with enough RBI to make him hitting leadoff still, in my opinion, work. We do know this. He wants to do it. That was a consideration.
Let me ask you something.
He wants
because
to.
People are bringing this up now with the scoreboard being shut down when Spencer Strider pitched the other day. We don't know how fast he was throwing.
I would have kept it off for an extra day. I would have said, I would have had a wire. This is what I would have done. If this is we didn't want the clock on when Spencer pitched. What I would have done is I would have gone to the board out back and I would have pulled something that would have been dangling. And I would have said, it's broke. It's broken. I would have said it's going to take 2 days to make it look like it was really broke.
Now, I'm asking you this for a reason.
Go ahead.
So the scoreboard is broken. Honest mistake, the Braves said last week when we were down there.
What they said is there was stuff. There was technical stuff going on.
Which means something was broken.
No, it doesn't. I would have
But to
pulled
me,
a
it
wire.
does.
I would have had a wire like a down line. I would have had sparks coming out of it. I said, we can't touch that for 2 days.
I guess the point I'm trying to make is today he's going to pitch on a backfield.
Uh-huh.
And Garrett Bauman, the 6'8 prospect, is going to start in Sarasota against the Orioles at 105 on the fan app. So now more people are asking, what's happening here? Why are we not getting the truth early on about Spencer Strider? I'm willing to tell everybody to relax, but you know people are going to start asking questions because everybody loves a good conspiracy theory.
He's going to pitch in what is look at me, real spring training game. No,
He
real.
winked.
Like they're going to keep score. And
Yeah.
then I'm assuming whether he's, look.
Dimino winked for those that aren't watching the fans' YouTube channel.
Well, there's no such thing as a real spring training game. I think I'm just it's a spring training game. They're real, they're fake, they're whatever they are. You can't control if he's on the road if somebody's going to have the clock on. I can control it at home. Now, will it be a coincidence if Spencer Strider's pitching on the mound in Northport against the, Minnesota Twins and the board isn't on? I would say that would fall into the way too crazy coincidence world. You can control it by putting him on a backfield. You can't control it certainly in somebody else's building. Maybe you could. I don't think you should. I don't think you should go to the well one more time where you just
It's just an odd coincidence, that's all.
Yeah, and it was working the next day.
Lightning struck the scoreboard.
But
it didn't rain.
I would have done 2 days of it not working.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done.
On Saturday, the Braves beat the Rays 5-1. Mike Yastrzemski in the top of the first goes the other way to left center field with a home run. Here he is talking about going deep.
It's a special thing to put this uniform on in general, but to hit a homer in it's obviously better. So just looking forward to keep meshing with these guys and having fun and, start building some camaraderie and making sure that by the time that the games start, we're all on the same page and ready to go.
He has also singled and walked in the fifth before he hit the showers. All right, call it a day.
That's 2 for 2. I'd shut it down. I'll see you on March 27th. Obviously, I am good to go. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but me, I feel good. I'm good to go. I'm going to tell you that without overly confirming it, I will confirm the concept of some of the core group guys getting together. And it's not going to be a thing that wins you a game, like I say, on a Tuesday in June. But it was part of Walt Weiss's address. I think the thing that we all took out of it, if you're sitting in this room, according to Walt Weiss, you're in play. That seemed to be the headline. Understand that we are not going to play with 26. We're not going to play with 30. We're not going to play with 35. We're going to push this thing past 50. They used 71 players last year. That's abysmal. That's an atrocity.
Well, you're not going to win, and they didn't, if you do stuff like that.
So the idea is stay healthy, but if you're in this room, you're in play. The other thing that was mentioned is you have no idea what your career is going to be. And if you have a year like last year where you don't get to the postseason, it's gone. That's one less chance to be a champion. Let's do everything we can. And this is the veteran part, or that core group of players. You have to I'll say impose on everybody in that building, everybody in that room as the season goes along. We don't have the luxury of, I don't want to say goofing around and having a bad week, goofing around and having a bad 10-game stretch. You don't. You found out last year you don't. So I do think that this group, and I think it's Matt Olson, I think it's Austin Riley, I think it's Chris Sale, I think there are a couple of others that absolutely are walking around, not with a chip on their shoulder. That's sort of overrated. I think what they're walking around is the realization that season was a waste. It was a waste. And you don't want many of those in your career. So what do you do about not having it happen in back-to-back years?
So Mike Yastrzemski is here to ensure that doesn't happen. Now, I can be as cynical as the next guy in case you haven't noticed over the years. But is the fish getting bigger, as you like to say, when it comes to the Mike Yastrzemski Brave story? So he grew up, as we all know, the grandson of a Boston legend, Carl Yastrzemski. But he idolized, he said, 2 other Hall of Famers. And those Hall of Famers, Chris, would be Chipper Jones and Andrew Jones. And he considered the Braves to be his National League team. So I ask you again, is the fish just getting bigger now for Mike Yastrzemski?
Yeah, it's a good story. I mean, I don't know the man. I'm not accusing him of lying. He went to Vanderbilt, so I guess he was here in the South. Maybe, I knew I loved the Braves. I'm in Braves country. He picked Vanderbilt, by the way, because he said while he wasn't guaranteed to play, he wanted the education. He carries himself like a guy who wanted the education. The Brave story is, that's fine. I don't know if there's documentation of this. I don't know if there's a picture of him at his 11th birthday, wearing Braves paraphernalia. I don't know if that exists.
But Braves fans and Braves country should eat it
But we
up.
appreciate the idea that we were at least his National League team.
So he says. Harold Reynolds is a friend of the show. Here's what he had to say about the Braves and the 26 season.
I got the Atlanta Braves. Even when you think, the reason I forgot it real quick was because you don't think about the Braves not being in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I think that team is going to come back. I love the addition of Walt Weiss.
They won just 76 games. That just does not sound.
They had a lot of injuries.
They did.
Riley, Albies. You go on and on.
And they've got some injuries right now in their rotation.
Pitching, yes, sir. Yeah. So, I think this team had built-in depth and it's already being tested in that rotation. But yeah, front-end players, those guys are what I love about them. They all love to play every day.
So the question was, what team that wasn't in the postseason last year will be in the postseason this year? And Harold Reynolds said, along with many others, the Braves. Because you can't have the Braves out of the playoffs 2 years in a row with all the injuries and only winning 76 games. That can't happen again. That's the rationale that a lot of people are putting forth.
He's telling you he clunked himself in the head. Oh, my goodness. I'm being told that the Atlanta Braves should be the team because they weren't in the postseason last year. In case you're wondering, 88.5 or 89.5. Those are the numbers that are floating around. 88.5, 89, 89.5 in terms of win totals. I looked at 5 different sites. Nobody had it less than 87. Nobody had it more than 92. And the range that really sort of fell was 88.5 to 99.5.
And it's the question everybody keeps asking us. I don't want to speak for you, Dimino, but I'm sure you're getting the question that we'll get to and at least try to answer it in just a second here. Before we do that, Fangraphs writer Ben Clemens did a statistical analysis of Major League Baseball players who are good base stealers but didn't take many opportunities. 3 Braves regulars made the list. Now, it's funny to hear Ronald Acuña on this list, but he's on there, Ozzie Albies and Jurickson Profar, which goes back to Anton Richardson putting more pressure on the opposing team by getting some of these guys to maximize their opportunities. But the best thing that he said, and if you missed that interview with Chris Dimino, it's up at the Fan app and 680thefan.com and also the YouTube channel. It's not about stealing the base. It's about putting pressure on the pitcher, and it's about, because of that pressure, forcing a pitcher to make a mistake to the batter. Next thing you know, ball's hit out of the park, or it's a run-scoring double, whatever it may be, because the pitcher changed his thought process because of the pressure on the base paths. That's the most important thing.
I like the idea of bringing your in-the-box mentality down to first. How do you get a jump? Well, you believe that, based upon the things that you did, this is where the off-speed pitch is coming. Even if you're not a tick faster than some guys who you think are base stealers, that's where you make up that tick. You go on a breaking ball. It's hard for the catcher sometimes, whether it's high, low, to get it out. No, look, you always want to run on an off-speed pitch. Or a down and away where a guy might have to actually move a little bit. But yeah, so this concept of it just being about pure speed, that's done. You got a guy now on first base that doesn't believe it's about pure speed. It's also about helping the guy up. And that idea that you dance a little bit, some of that conversation was, If you stay on the balls of your feet and you're moving a little bit, whether it's a distraction, whether the catcher is thinking about you, whether he thinks we got to throw a fastball because he's going, nobody pitches out. So what you do is you just say, okay, look, give me the fastball because I think that guy is going.
I watched that entire conversation. The video was up, like I said, at all of the fan social media platforms. Might have been the best thing you did down there.
Oh.
That conversation with him. And if you're a Braves fan and you want to find out how they're going to be more aggressive on the bases, I would encourage you to watch the Anton Richardson conversation with Chris Dimino.
And they're also, I don't know if this has been happening, but the director of the minor leagues was with him a couple of days that we could see from the booth. And the idea that we're teaching this organizationally from the top of the pyramid is the MLB team, all the way down to your minors. We want guys to come up here. We want guys who might be playing up here at some point this year to understand this is what we do. And organizationally, we need to be better at this. Because, look, if you have a bad offensive year, part of the conversation was, I think the easiest way to score more runs is by being a better base running team. Steals are great, but being a better base running team is the easiest way to get more runs to your total.
Now, I got peppered with questions all weekend long as things were posted on social media. Can't speak for you, but people keep asking me over and over again, so I would assume they're asking you, where are we going to watch the Braves this season? My answer is, I don't know. I know the season starts March the 27th. I don't know. I know that you can always listen to the games on the Fan app absolutely free, but as far as watching them, I don't know.
Is this where I'm supposed to pimp for old school?
Do what you got to do, Chris.
Yeah. Just, find a little place.
Everyone knows baseball's better on the radio.
Grab
anyway.
a cigar, grab a drink,
Trying to
and
get you to say, yeah.
Just do a year's worth of Braves radio baseball. It's going to be there. Somebody asked me, I put yes. Will all the Braves games be on? And I type yes, small letters. Why yes? Then they asked me again on social media. That didn't sound very confident. So then I typed in all capitals. I've never used an exclamation point in my life, but I put 3 of them on to make this gentleman aware that I believe that the Braves games will be on TV.
Because a lot of people were panicking because FanDuel, their network, closed their Atlanta office. But you have to understand, they're no longer involved with FanDuel, so it doesn't matter what they're doing, and that's why the Braves aren't involved. I got a feeling some of those same faces that you saw on FanDuel, once the Braves decide where they're going to broadcast television-wise their games, I've got a feeling you're going to see some of those faces, those same faces.
Well, here's when I'll panic. If I come in early one morning and I see a FanDuel truck and I see them pulling cameras out and putting them in the back of the truck where I go, oh my God, we don't have cameras. People are right. We're not going to be able to watch these games. That'll be the day that I panic. If those are FanDuel cameras and they come get them in the middle of the night or early in the morning, I will be your Braves reporter. I will report what I see if I do see that.
Then perhaps it's time to worry.